Hello there, VC. Long time no see. Apologies for my recent absence. Been a couple of reasons, neither of them particularly pleasant. I've been unwell, but unfortunately, my mother-in-law passed away about 3 weeks ago. As you can imagine, things have been a little bit hectic around here, so posting stuff on YouTube has come very, very distant last to pretty much everything else I've had to do recently. So apologies for that, but I am back. Thank you to everyone who subscribed since I last posted anything. Sorry you've had to wait for anything coming through. I'm just going to do a quick update here. I haven't even really been buying much stuff, but at the weekend I popped in and bought something new. And then yesterday I was in Wallsend after being at the GP, popped into that second-hand record place in the market I was talking about last time, and spent a good hour rooting through for about the 5 half-decent albums that you had in there that weren't wrecked to shreds. So got a few of those to show as well. Right, start things off. I'm going to start things off with the new thing, which I do believe I've left lying over here somewhere. Okay. I've not even opened this yet. Like I say, I bought it at the weekend. And this is the new Blind Guardian Live release, and the glare is going to play merry hell with that. It's a live 4LP box set. Contains 24-page booklet. And basically just very much a greatest hits type of set. Really looking forward to this. Love Blind Guardian. Hansi's just got one of those voices that just works. Just works. Sometimes they can sound a little bit twee. Probably not the right word I'm looking for, but they tend to affect a kind of slightly Celtic folksy guitar sound at times, which rubs us up the wrong way sometimes, works the others. But yeah, Blind Guardian, so I'm looking forward to that. Some great stuff on here. Yeah, so that's on Nuclear Blast, just came out. Looking forward to that. And this is just going to be a fairly quick thing. I'm going to try and get at least one contest entry in tonight as well before Jill gets back. But we'll see. Anyway, cheers, VC. Yeah, drinking a Scottish brew today. It's from the Fallen Brewery. This is Choo Choo, and this is a salted caramel milk stout. Bloody lovely. Anyway, on to the older stuff. So, most of it's rock, apart from the first one. I'm going to do this sort of chronologically in time. This is from 1976, and John Denver. Now, some of you might recognise it because I've shown the CD before. My dad has a copy of this. I've never owned a copy of it. It's a brilliant, brilliant album. I love it. Final song there, Wings That Fly Us Home. That'll be played at my funeral. And in fact, for Jill's mum's funeral, we had a John Denver song going in and a John Denver song coming out. So he is a little bit like the angel of death around our family. But anyway, it's a brilliant album, quite spiritual. More folksy than country, I would say. Mixes it up. He's never really fallen into one camp. At least I don't think so. But that is a great album. Cost me a grand total of £2 English, and it's in cracking nick. And the vinyl itself. It's great, it's on RCA. Not a mark on it. I would imagine someone bought it, played it once, never played it again. More fool then. Alright, so that's the first one. Then we're going to go into a run of 3 albums from 1984. Now, this wasn't done deliberately when I bought them, just kind of happened that way when I picked them up. I'm assuming these have probably come from the same collection, because there was a number of albums of a similar ilk within the shop that I picked up. First one is the Drop Dead Gorgeous Dale Bozio, Missing Persons. So Missing Persons, American, how would you describe them? Art rock, AOR, new wavy stuff. Hard to describe. Really good sound though, I love them. My introduction to these was a song called Words, which used to be played regularly at one of the local rock discos, Tiffany's. And I've got a copy of that somewhere on 7-inch, but I've never had any sort of vinyl by Missing Persons. So this is the first one I picked up, saw it. I mean, the group also includes Warren Cucurullo, who was with Dale in Frank Zappa's band, and then has gone on and play with, for a lot of years, with Duran Duran. And it's got Dale's, what I think is now ex-husband, but I could be mistaken, Terry Bozzio on drums and keyboards. And of course, Terry was a stalwart of Frank Zappa's band as well. So there you go, Missing Persons. Looking forward to giving that a spin. There's a couple of tracks I think I've heard on here, but I'm not 100% sure. But I like the other stuff I've heard by them, so I'm not going to argue. Next one is Southside Johnny and the Dukes. This is In the Heat. Again, like I say, 1984. Now I've, so it's the only Southside Johnny I've got, not got any of his other stuff, and I've only picked it up because I've seen it mentioned a couple of times on the VC. So if I don't like it, I'll be going back onto your videos, find out who you were, and saying, ooh, really horrible things about you. So, but I've got a feeling I'm going to. So there you go, Southside Johnny. And the last one from '84 is a band called Aries. It's a Shaft of Light. Now, Aries were a sort of British AOR band. Probably most famous member is Jason Bonham. And I don't really have a very high regard for Jason. I've met him a couple of times and he's been a total nut, a twonk every single time I've met him. But Keith Murrell, who is the vocalist, I've got on a couple of albums by Mama's Boys, because he joined Mama's Boys, and rather strangely, for a lot of years has acted as a backup singer for Cliff Richard. So if you've got any of Cliff Richard's albums from around about 1990, in all likelihood, Keith Murrell's on. If memory serves me right, and my memory is shit, so don't quote me on this, Keith Murrell appeared on Top of the Pops with Cliff Richard singing Mistletoe and Wine. Could be mistaken, but I think it was him. Anyway, I saw these back in the day, probably as the album came out. No inner sleeve on this, it's on Atco. Again, it's decent nick, it doesn't look as if it's been played much. I think I paid £4 for that, so wasn't going to argue. It's in decent nick. There's some edge wear and what have you, but there you go. I've probably heard one or two tracks off it. Like I say, I'm pretty sure I saw them on that tour, but I'm damned if I could name anything by them. And finally, from 1987 this time, is Terraplane, Moving Target. Now, Terraplane are again a sort of British AOR band, but with a very sort of bluesy sort of background. Again, my first introduction to this lot came at Tiffany's. In a song off their first album, Chris, one of the DJs there, used to play a song, which his name eludes me now. And I bought the first album and absolutely loved it. For some reason, I never ever bought this album. Don't know why. If any of you are wondering, that some of these people look a little bit familiar, you've got Danny Bowes and Luke Morley from Thunder, who were in Terraplane. I saw this lot play live at Newcastle Riverside, probably around about the time the album came out, because it was definitely after the first album, I think. Like I say, memory's not what it was. But great band, I really like them. I've got no idea what this is like. I'm not even sure if I've ever heard anything off it. However, the first album I absolutely love. And I really love Thunder's first album, Backstreet Symphony, which this is sandwiched between. So, who knows? Again, I think I paid £4-5 for that, and it's in great nick. So, there you go. Well, that's my short update. Like I say, I'm going to try and get some more done today, but we'll see. There's a couple of contests I'd love to enter that are just about to close, or if I'm really unlucky, have just closed, but we'll see. So, sorry if I've missed anyone's contest. I do like to try and sort of put an entry in just to show a bit of support for people. It's not out of sort of any reason other than I've just had more important things to be dealing with recently. So, cheers once again, VC. Hopefully I'll knock something else out. Depends how long I've got. If Jill walks through the door halfway through the next one, I think I'll be stopping it. But we'll see. Cheers now. Bye.